Well, sadly, the update from Etsy is that there is no update from Etsy. They have not responded. They have not acknowledged any of my tags, and I did tag them multiple times. Good news is I was in contact with Anna, who is the one that kind of started the petition against Etsy, and she's a mom that stumbled upon these accounts on Etsy offering these incest and child abuse theme merchandise with some very, very graphic photos. And she has 40,000 signatures on her petition. It would be nice to help her reach 50,000 because it's not for her, it's for all of us, and it's for our kids, and it's for our society. And still, she hasn't even received one word from Etsy. That shows really terrible corporate social responsibility, Etsy. Very disappointed. So I will continue my search for other platforms. However, this is the reality or the dilemma that I'm faced with. The fact is, this is not just an Etsy problem. I'm sure the other platforms, I wouldn't doubt if they also have similar accounts on it, unless they specifically are on the lookout for a child abuse related or child sexual exploitation related accounts and merchandise. They're not going to do anything about it. So unless a company has made an actual commitment to protecting kids, it's most likely that other platforms have the same problem, because the problem is a demand problem. The problem is this huge demand that our world right now has for the sexual abuse and exploitation of vulnerable people. So it's a societal problem, it's a human problem, and then we see it, we stumble upon it every now and then when it intersects with our life. And so it's important when it does intersect that we stop and we do something about it. We listen, we're aware, and we use our consumer power and we use our voice to hold companies responsible who are not doing due diligence. So that's what this fight is about, and I want you guys to do your part, either by backing us and tagging Etsy to tell them to remove these accounts, or go and sign the petition, or perhaps it's something you're going to stumble upon something soon, another company that's not doing enough. Maybe it's an airline, maybe it's a hotel, which I recently addressed as well. My favorite hotel chain still offering adult material, which means sexual abuse material online. So anyways, we pick our battles and we use our voice. And so that's important. I was very encouraged to receive so many encouraging messages from you guys telling me to keep going and that you back me on it. But I wanted to address and talk a little bit about our vulnerable kids, because they're your vulnerable kids and they're my vulnerable kids. And why are they so vulnerable? Why and how are they getting lured into conversations with predators? How are they getting tricked into sending inappropriate pictures, texts, videos to strangers, even if they think they're a friend, or even if they think they're another 13-year-old girl? There's not much we can control, you guys. We can't control the behavior of these predators and pimps and Johns. I wish we could, but we can't. We can control, and we can have a lot of influence on what happens in our household and what happens in our children's lives while they live with us and while we have them under our influence. And that's where the focus needs to stay, you guys. We need to be aware what is happening in their life, especially their online activities. Are you fully knowledgeable about what they're doing, how long they're on what program, who they're talking to? Do you know the person they're talking to? Have you seen them in person? Do you know their parents? Do you know where they live? My kids don't do any games with, well, they hardly do any games because I hate the whole gaming world. But I know that we are not the norm. If they are gaming, why do they have to play with strangers? Predators hang out where your children hang out. This is this is documented. This is not just my rant. They pose as 12-year-old girls and boys. They hang out with your children online. And then they build relationship, they build trust, they pour into your children more, sometimes more than you are pouring into them. If a child has been abused or sexually exploited or lured away, it is because that predator poured into that child more than the parents. We don't want to hear that. We don't want to feel guilty. Our work's very important. We're very busy. We like the things that we do. And sometimes our kids slip through the cracks and they are feeling lost, and the predators meet a need that is there, you guys. Let me show you this very disturbing book that I keep in a brown bag because I don't ever want my kids to see it. And I even hated having this book in my house for the first couple years that I had it. Conversations with a Pedophile, one of the most upsetting and educational books I have ever read. This whole problem can be summed up in one word: their tactic, their strategy, their weapon of destruction, the tool, their number one tool that predators use, pedophiles specifically use, to target children, vulnerable children. One word, you guys: listening. That's it. This guy abused over 1,000 kids. He's in jail for life, thank God. But he was willing to do this book with this author. I don't know why, because he still had the same desires. Maybe he felt a little guilty. Maybe he wanted to protect other kids. Anyways, I don't know why he did the book, but he did share his secrets. And number one rule, number one strategy, worked every time: listening, making those kids feel like they're the most important thing in the world. They can trust him with anything. He's so interested in their day and their feelings, and they trusted him. And we know kids, they trust people. That's one of their beautiful qualities. And predators, pedophiles, take advantage of that trust. So, I'm getting a little far away from Etsy. What I was saying is you cannot control. I cannot influence every company. I cannot change the choices, the actions of abusers. But I can make sure my kids are never in a situation where they will be vulnerable or susceptible to becoming a victim of abuse. And I want you to get there too. I want you to know with 100% certainty that you have done everything you can to protect your kids. So I hope today this has helped. Hope it gives you some tools. We also have a list of other organizations. Get informed. Follow these frontline organizations that know what they're talking about. Do it for your kids.